Well, hi everybody. This is Rolf Denver, and in the background you'll be hearing some enthusiastic pikas or pikas. Pikas, I believe, is how you pronounce it. Here in the Colorado backcountry, hiking the Colorado Trail. And today I just want to do a short review of hand protection. Basically keeping your hands warm and dry when you're out on a long trip or even a short backcountry trip. So there are three things that I've been using, and I've been satisfied with all three. The first is the Z-Packs Possum Down gloves. The second are the Enlightened equipment mitts. And then the third are the SMD over mitts. So, whoops, something is about to blow into the stream here, so I have to go get it, and I'll review each of these in turn. What you see here on the ground, by the way, is I'm packing up from a wonderful night camping in an incredibly beautiful place along the Colorado Trail. This is an amazing trail, and I'm 3 days from the end, and it's been just every single day has been fantastic, even the days that have had some challenges. So first, this is, and I'm sorry I said SMD, sorry folks, it's Mountain Laurel Designs. This is simply a very thin but waterproof over mitt. Now they do recommend that you seam seal it yourself. I did not seam seal it. I didn't really notice water coming in. I just forgot to do that. But in conjunction with a glove like, a fleece type glove, these provide really good protection against rain, and they provide a little more protection with cold. There was a tag here. I cut off all the tags because I'm such an incredibly ultralight purist. Not. But anyway, this lock system works really well, and it's an over mitt. It's very thin, it has no insulation, but it does provide some warmth, and it is extremely light. I think the pair is a little over an ounce, so well worth having. And when I say well worth having, I mean for me. There are ultralight purists who will scoff at some of this, and rightly so. They may not need this. I do need this because my hands have a symptom called Raynaud's syndrome, and even in relatively warm temperatures like the 40s or 50s, my fingers can get very cold, numb, and turn white at the tips. So it's really important for me to protect my fingers. And for my toes, I take along some simple bread bags. They're durable. I will slip them over a pair of dry socks, and even if my shoes are already wet, my feet will stay warm. That definitely helped me yesterday when we had an incredibly strong freak hailstorm that put probably 2 inches of hail on the ground. It was like walking through slushies for several miles until suddenly, like what happens in Colorado, you cross a ridge and all the hail is gone. But at the time it was a serious situation, and in fact there were some mountain bikers who needed to be rescued, I think that's the best way to put it, by some hikers who had more warm gear just because of the conditions. So anyway, I use all three of these layers and they help for me. The second layer is my Z-Packs Possum Down gloves, and I am really satisfied with this item. So this is it. It's a glove. It's made out of some sort of down type, not down, it's made out of some sort of, woolly type material. I forget what it is. Z-Packs would, I'm sure, goes into great detail on their site. It's nice. It stays warm even when it's wet. It's thin. It's you can do things with it while you can use your fingers and operate your stove or whatever, and it works well. It's some people. I heard one hiker refer to it as a consumable. I think if you're an average backpacker, these will last you a long time. If you're a thru hiker like me, after a while they'll start showing a bit of well, I'm a thru hiker right now anyway. They will show a little bit of tear, but I think that's reasonable. It's asking too much for something like this to live forever. I've been using these every single day since for 40 days basically. So So not surprisingly, there's a little bit of pilling or whatever. I can wash these. I can wash these in a regular washer on a regular setting, you know, not super hot, but warm. They don't shrink. I'm just really happy with them. And like I said, I use them just about every day. And finally, this is something you might not need unless, like me, you do get cold hands very easily. But I've found them very useful. Yesterday during that hailstorm, I think they were more than just useful. I think they were critical for my hand's health. This is an Enlightened equipment mitten, Mitt. It's made out of a synthetic material, not down. I believe it may be the same material that they use in their jacket, which I also love. I have an Enlightened equipment Torrid jacket, and it's fantastic. But anyway, very light. The pair is about, I think it's about 1.5 ounces. These are the ones, you can see this little strap here, and you can see this interesting little opening. This is an opening so that you can actually take your fingers out if you need to do something that involves some dexterity. I'll show you how it works here in a second. But they're high quality. I'm glad I took them along with me. At first I didn't, and then when I stopped for a resupply, my wife came out to meet me. I asked her if she could take these along, and I'm glad I did. So here's how these particular mitts work. They also sell ones that don't have this opening. I found the opening to be comfortable. It doesn't cause any problems. Hello, peekaboo. Yeah, I guess you can play games with kids or something. But you can take your fingers out. Now your thumb is still in there, but if you want to, you can take your thumb out too, and just sort of have this as almost like a little gauntlet around your wrist, I suppose, for a while, and do whatever you need to do, and then pop your fingers back in and stay warm again. There's a little strap so that you can sort of strap back the top so it doesn't get in the way. I never really had occasion to use that, but I think it's a good idea. I'll show you how that works. Here you go. The idea of the strap is that it'll keep this other part from, like, you know, getting in your stove or whatever while you're using your fingers. But anyway, very nice, very warm. In the coldest temperatures here, I used my Z-Packs Possum Down gloves. Then I put on these, and then I put on the liners from Mountain Laurel Designs. Now, I believe that Enlightened Equipment also sells liners. Some others do too, or rain over mitts. They all worked fine together. It felt a little tight when all three were together, but they still worked just fine. And actually, I think the tightness made things a little bit warmer. So I'm not kidding about yesterday. I had all 3 layers on. I was swinging my hands to get circulation into my fingers. I was stomping my feet. I was moving as quick as I could because it's amazing to think that in early August, a hailstorm in Colorado can put down a couple of inches of hail that then turns into slush and then gathers and turns into ice cold water. So don't skimp on protection for warmth. All right, so this is Rolf Denver. I hope you've enjoyed this video. My trail name, by the way, is Kinnikinnick because, like the plant, I cover ground slowly. And I enjoy plants. There are amazing plants and flowers here in Colorado at this time of year. It's just such a wonderful place to go. Pick any section of the Colorado Trail if you want a section hike it, and you won't be disappointed. Thanks very much from me and from the Pikas. 2 other things I forgot to mention about the Z-Packs Possum Down gloves. One is they do have connective tips. I guess the idea is that you can use them with a cell phone. To be honest, I've found that to be hit or miss, and frankly mostly miss, but I still think they're worth the price even if they weren't connective, and at times they do work. The other thing about them is that I wear them a lot because they aren't clammy at all. I'll even wear them to just keep mosquitoes off if it's warm, and my hands are still fine. They don't feel clammy in the slightest. So I find them an indispensable part of my kit. And yes, these are getting a little worn, but once they're worn, I'm going to get a new pair, and I thank Z-Packs for a really good product.